Welcome to a new episode of the AW Confidential podcast. Today we have a special segment with my ladies. We are going to do an AW Sips and Socials ladies chat. We're going to spill the tea on, love, sex, dating, and relationships. And we are going to do it in an unfiltered way. And we're going to just have some fun. And today's episode is sponsored by Mionetto Prosecco. And we're going to have some treats from Charcuterie Mom in Queens. And we are going to be toasting with our AW Sips and Socials glasses for the first time, provided by Ava Creations. So join us for this fun and engaging episode. So, ladies, please introduce yourselves.
I'm Mabel Martinez, digital marketer and creator in New York City, based in the Bronx.
I'm Jasmine, comedian, actress, writer, and I'm based in Harlem.
I'm Carolina Alduey. I have been a talent rep for a number of years, publicist, then talent manager, and I'm doing coaching / strategic advisory for creatives.
So I wanted to get the girls here today because there's been a lot of conversation about dating, love, sex, relationships, and I wanted to have a conversation from a woman's perspective. So my first obvious question is, how does single life treat you? Who's single? Who's not?
Single.
I am not single.
Single.
Not single.
Mabel.
Well,
The
okay.
Yes.
The Prosecco.
No tea, just Prosecco.
Well, first of all, single ladies first. How's single life treating you? Because I hear a lot of shit happening.
I be thriving.
And none of it is good.
I'm sorry. I'm thriving in
Love
single
to hear
life.
that.
You know, I'm actually always in a relationship, and so I'm never really
It's
single.
not a good thing.
You know what? All right, I'm now in a single moment, and it took a little while getting used to because I'm like, oh, this is so whack. You know, like I just want to be booed up, cuddled up. I really like that. I like being booed up. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. But now, I'm thriving. I feel like the universe is just sending, cute people in my path, and I'm like,
See, but it's that energy.
Yeah.
You're at that vibration, so that's why you're attracting
100%. When I was like single, sad, and depressed, like
Jaded,
I was
angry.
literally not attracting anything.
Yeah.
But once you hit that vibrational frequency where the universe said, "Oh, okay, let me throw some people," starts attracting people.
I love that.
Yeah, I'd say that being single now has been better than in the past, even though I'm getting older and there's the pressure of, are you going to have children and all of these things, and you do have a sense of urgency when you meet people more than before. But I also feel like I'm dating now way more intentionally than I was. I'm so much more self-aware. I'm so much more clear of who I am and what I want. I'm not compromising. And that feels really good.
Can you clarify what you mean by dating intentionally?
Okay, so for me, dating intentionally means that I am very clear on the person that I want, and I'm not compromising any of my desires. Because I think in the past, what we do, most women, what people, because men do this too, is like, oh, okay, well, they're nice, but, they don't make me laugh, or they're, or I don't know, he's cute, but like I can't really depend on him or something, whatever.
Or he's okay, but I'll change the things I don't like.
I'll change the things that,
I did that throughout my 20s.
all the time. So it's very different when you're like, no, this is who I am. And that doesn't mean that you're like, going into a date with a list. Check,
Well, that was going to be a question.
Oh, yes, you are.
Do we have a list? Because a lot of I've met women that have a list, and people have advised me, why don't you make a list of the things that you want?
I mean, I'll just quickly answer and then I'll let the girls talk. But I don't have a list, like a physical list that I use. I have the things that I like. You know what I mean? Like, and honestly, at the end of the day, it's really more a feeling than anything else. It's like all of these things come together. If they're not making me laugh, if I don't feel, there is one thing, there is, my friends laugh at me. They'll laugh when they hear this because I say, and I learned this from a sex and relationship coach who said it has to be a full body yes. So it has to be like a mind, heart, down there, yes.
Do you know how hard that
Yes.
is?
Well,
Her
So it doesn't even like, because you might be like, if I want to be turned on by somebody if they're like tall, but that might fall out of the box of things you want.
They're dumb as rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
probably.
but like if you could be attracted to them for other reasons. So it has to be a full body yes, like mind, heart, and
Did
sexual.
you hear that, ladies?
Yeah.
It's so
And
true.
gents.
Mm-hmm.
You know, men do it too.
Yeah.
I don't know if men need the full body yes. I feel like men are just like, no. I think men one of the three.
Yeah.
Do you have a list?
Oh, I definitely have a list. I didn't write it out, but I definitely have a list. I have a lot of make it or break it. It's like, I need a man that could dance. I was with someone a decade that could
Wow.
not dance, and I feel like I had to sacrifice that part of myself. Like, I am a dancer. I want someone that's literally like gonna be like, "You on board at home? You want to go dance? Yeah, let's go find a dance club and just go dancing, just to dance." So if you can't dance, like, we can't be together.
How about if he has everything but that? You'll
then
teach him?
maybe we could be like a short-term little fun fling.
Or you can teach him.
Okay.
Serious.
I don't want to teach anybody anything. You know, if you want to go take dance classes by yourself and come to me correct the next time, I invite you to do that. But I'm just not trying to teach a man nothing.
Okay.
I love that.
Mabel, now to you. You are not single.
Not single.
So how's committed life?
It's going great. I was single for a while, which was amazing because you need that time for yourself and you really learn
Absolutely.
so much about yourself during that. But I'm in a 3-year relationship. We met on Hinge.
Ooh.
It-
Wait, we haven't
Yes.
gotten to the dating apps. I'm going to
Okay.
get to that.
We met on Hinge. He's great. I did have a list, but I will say I did, like, similar to what you said, like, I had qualities, but for me, the top of my list was someone that was very, like, family, oriented. Like, I needed that because I'm super close to my family. So if the guy does not have that, then it might be a little bit of a deal breaker for me. But other than that, like, it was family oriented, smart, funny, has to make me laugh. And I'm not gonna lie, this may sound a little vain, but I wanted someone 6 feet and above.
It's okay. It's
And
what
like,
you want.
no tea, no shade to the short kings. Love you guys, been there, done that.
Short
but
kings, I love that.
I really wanted a tall guy, and that's what I got. He's 6'2".
I love that.
Yeah, win for
Yes.
Hinge.
I love that.
Hinge did that.
And I do want to have that conversation. Dating apps. So the consensus from the very few friends I have that are single, probably 2, the consensus is that dating apps are trash and that many men, I won't say all, go to these apps to try to just get an easy score or just a fun time. Has that been your, we know that's not your experience, but has that been sort of part of your experience?
I would say, so I've only ever done Hinge. So I've never like downloaded any other app. But from my experience, Hinge was great. But I feel like I got like, the diamond in the rough situation because a lot of people just want to have a pen pal. Or a lot of people just, I don't know. I feel like they just text.
I had a text relationship for like 2 years.
Oh my goodness.
No.
See, I
That's too
can't
long.
do it.
Oh,
And-
no.
and-
Too
or,
long.
or
No
wanna ask-
physical,
no physical nothing?
nah.
Girl, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Or they want to ask you on a date after like 2 sentences. And I'm like, just, I don't know. For me, I'm like, let's text for a day. Let's see how it goes. And if that was a good day of texting, then you could take me on a date. But I don't want to meet you immediately after not having ever had a conversation with you over text. And I don't want to text you for a week plus. Yeah, I'm not interested. So just get to it.
I'm a little bit of the opposite. So to answer your question, I think it's mostly trash.
I have stories of women who are actually choosing to practice celibacy because it's so bad, they just don't want it.
Well, is it really truly practicing celibacy or is it just, that there's no options in the pool? You know what I'm saying? Because you're practicing celibacy if you're like in a pool full of fine ass people and you're like, oh no, I'm
there's
not
just
gonna
no
do it.
options
There's
in
just
the
no
pool.
options. So you're not practicing
Yeah.
celibacy. You
That's a
just
good
ain't got
point.
options, which is different.
That's okay. That's fair.
Well, I would say for me now, I'm just getting off of Hinge where I was on for maybe like 6 months or a little bit less. I had been on other times before for extended periods of time. And I was meeting people. I had these little short-term relationships, But again, at that time, I was compromising what I wanted. So I wasn't, and I think that actually that's what mostly happens in these dating apps, that people are not intentional. So they're going into, everybody's like mismatching.
So they're settling.
Because they're settling, because then they're like, oh, forget it, I'll sleep with this person. And now you're in a sleeping situationship. You know,
I have that on my list.
Yeah, there's a lot of that happening, even if there are good people on. I do believe that there are good men. And I believe that I have to go into an energy where I'm going to meet a guy anywhere. It could be on Hinge. It could be in the supermarket. It could be in the gym. Like
at Whole Foods, the gym, anywhere.
Yeah,
it's just like any other space to meet another human being, you know? But, you know, I do feel like women are changing and men aren't understanding how to deal with that. So there's a lot of that. And then there's a lot of the lack of emotional intelligence. And I would say that that's from both men and women, you know? So there's not a lot of intentionality. Now, I actually, this time around, do very quickly into the conversation. Like, I actually don't even want to talk to you usually for more than a day, or even like a few exchanges before I'm like, hey, let's go get a coffee. Because what ends up happening is that then you start building up this person in your mind, and you could have a great exchange on an app. But when you meet them, you're like, you know? So I'm usually the one that volunteers it, and I do it very quickly because I also don't want to sit at a dinner with you, and I also don't want to drink with you on the first date for the most part. So I suggest the coffee. And I'll say this last point, a lot of men feel very weird about asking girls for coffee because some girls get offended and they're like...
I would get offended.
Yeah,
really?
You would get offended?
I would get offended.
Yeah, because...
As long as it's Starbucks.
Because they think that's not... Like, what's your effort? That's not intentional. Like, you're not... Like, what do you think? I'm just worth like a little $5 coffee or something? Wow. I get it. And I used to feel like that too. But the truth is, I don't want to spend more than like 45 minutes to an hour with you. So I rather you just like... It's a very low risk situation for everyone. And... we're in, we're out. And then the second date, yes, if I like you, then please plan me something that costs more than $5.
Right.
So, you know.
I get that.
Yeah.
And I would agree that it is very low risk.
Yeah.
And so I feel like right now in the stage of life that I'm currently at, like I'm trying to low risk casually date for the first time in my whole life.
So you're not dating to go get married and have a baby.
I'm not dating to get married, okay? Which is crazy because against
not at all.
I'm a relationship person, so I'm fighting this. I'm fighting to not look for my husband. But a lot of my friends were telling me, like, in order for me to get out of my head that, like, is this person my husband? To just get out of that thinking, they're like, don't think of it as a date. Just think of it as a meetup. And maybe you stop getting offended if somebody doesn't want to take you on some extravagant date, and maybe you just get the coffee. Just to, like, in my head, like, make it more casual so that I'm not subconsciously looking for my husband. Because I don't want to be looking for my husband all the time. You know?
And that's why you're going to find him when you're
I'm trying
not
to chill the
looking.
hell out for a second.
That's why you're where you are. Because, so I feel that when you actively search for something, you chase it away.
Yeah.
So I think if you just live your life, do what you do, I think it'll just come.
You can't chase something, because if you chase it, you don't have it.
Yeah, and when you're chasing something, you're operating from a place of lack.
Right.
So you think, you're telling the universe, I don't have. So it's reflecting to you, okay, here, you don't have anything.
Right.
You know?
Also, no one really needs a husband. So I don't want to operate from a place of lack as if you're lacking because you don't have a partner. I really don't think that's the case. And I think, it's good to just experience a moment where you're just like trying to have fun and not trying to like do anything really, really serious.
So you mentioned the word fun. I watched a Hoda and Jenna interview with Tiffany Haddish a few days ago. And Tiffany talked about dating multiple people, but she's celibate. So she dates, but she doesn't have sex with them.
Yeah, that sounds whack.
So that was my question. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm not trying to be celibate. That's not my intention. That is not my goal. I have zero interest. I also, though, I don't believe in like being with multiple people at the same time. That's just me.
But it's dating. You're not having sexual relations.
Well, some people do. Some people are like, oh, I'm dating many people and I'm also having sex with many people, and that's
okay,
cool.
That's
if
fine.
That
Whatever
works
for you.
Girl, I actually support those people because they're a lot more free than me. I don't think I can do that part. But there's no like I'm not interested in just being celibate. I just want to find one person and be like, we doing
You wanna
this,
boo.
you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we could like, maybe you just have that one person that you're sexually exclusive with, but like you're still dating around. I don't know. I'm just talking.
That's tricky.
Is that tricky?
Go
For
ahead.
me, I feel like I'm all for dating multiple people while you're like in that dating stage. I
We've
was
had
doing
that
that.
conversation.
I was literally going on multiple dates a week. I even double booked sometimes.
Oh,
Because I was just like, why not? Like, why not? And it also, I feel like I'm all for that. And I'm the type of person, I'm not gonna sleep with you. And I'm going to really like make you work for it. Like I'm not gonna play hard to get, but I am gonna I'm gonna like make you work for it. I'm gonna make you like earn it because I'm not gonna just like sleep around. I want someone who I can like trust and like be with. And I also want to weed out the people who are just around just to sleep with me or like just
Apparently
to like
there's a
keep you
lot
around.
of
Well, one
those.
would
Exactly.
argue that you could actually weed them out by sleeping with them.
Oh my
That
God.
too. That too.
Okay. Yes. Why don't you elaborate on that, please?
Okay, when I got out of like this really long relationship and I started dating for the first time, which is when I did the last podcast with you, I was getting so much feedback from so many different people. Some people were like, no, you have to wait 5 days, 6 days.
90-day rule.
Yeah, this 90-day rule.
Yeah.
Or just all these stupid little rules. And then one of my friends was like, honestly, Jasmine, like when you did, this was the perspective, and I think this is my favorite perspective that I've heard so far. When you like make it into a rule for yourself, you take away your autonomy. Like if you want to have sex, just have sex.
Yeah.
And if that man is like, oh, I
long
think
as
you're
you're safe.
easy now because,
Yeah.
I had sex
Then
with
you
you.
learn something about
then,
it.
Yeah.
then you know what? You weed it out that he's a loser.
Uh-huh.
And you go on with your life.
Yep.
But if you want to have sex, you should be able to have sex. It's your body, your autonomy, and
Yeah.
you take that power.
Yeah.
And just know that if you're taking that power, sit in that power and don't feel powerless if someone leaves you for it or judges you for it because they're the one that sucks.
Yeah.
You're just being a grown ass woman about your business.
100%.
And I was like, period.
No, and I 100% agree with that. And I also know many very happy couples that are very much in love and have families who slept together very early on in their
On day
relationship.
one.
On day
I
one.
know one of
on day-
those.
so it's like, I don't think there's a particular rule. I personally don't like to date at the same time. Like I do date if it's like a first date, maybe even second, maybe even third dates, but it's rare because if I'm getting to a third date with you, you're probably the only person that I'm starting to focus on. And I just, first of all, I don't have the time. Like I don't have the time to date a bunch of people.
Time is a luxury.
It's like I can date a bunch of I can do a bunch of first dates,
Yes.
but like to emotionally invest myself in getting to know someone, I don't have the time to do that with multiple people.
Got it.
I do have particular approaches of if I'm very serious about this person, I probably hold off a little bit just because I want to see what they're about. And you're vulnerable. You make yourself vulnerable, and no matter what, once you sleep with someone, there is an emotional attachment no matter what. I don't
Apparently
care.
it's scientific.
Listen, it's
Yes.
unavoidable.
Yes.
It's unavoidable.
Yes.
But we have our needs, and sometimes it happens, and then you get attached, and then you have to unravel that and do whatever. There's a whole thing, But I will say I don't have a particular I have to wait X amount of dates. I have put those rules on myself in the past. But, as Jasmine said, I do think you learn about the guy. Okay, now their whole shit changed up on me. Oh, okay. Well, you were a dick to begin with, Sorry for my French. I don't know.
We are big girls here.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no. So it tells you something a little bit faster if you are like, okay, I feel good. I feel ready. I want to do this. Like, fuck it. You should have the freedom to do it.
I love it.
you
Modern women.
Yeah.
So you would say it's
Okay.
emotionally draining to date multiple people? I'm just taking notes because I'm in the first time in my life. So
Well, for me, it is to date past a third date multiple people.
Got
Yeah,
you.
that's
Like
a
if I'm
lot.
dating a
think
ton of
That's a
people.
lot.
It is a lot, right?
Do you agree?
I
You
agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like first dates, okay, you're testing waters. You're not emotionally invested yet, but yeah, past that for me it is.
Yeah. Like, I feel like my max would be like 1 or 2 dates with the same guy. And then if it's not flowing, then I'm just on to the next.
But I think we tend to keep giving them chances.
Not
to
no
woo
more.
us.
Not no more.
Did you ever catch yourself
Period.
doing that? Did you ever catch yourself doing that?
I did years ago though, but it was also I was in a place where I wasn't even ready to be in a relationship, so I was just just going out, and like I was in a long-term relationship, and then I was like, I just need to find somebody. Like I just want to be with somebody. But then at that point, that's when I really like learned about myself, and I was like, no, you can wait. Like this is your time to like be single and like learn more about yourself, and then get back into the dating
What
pool.
was the biggest lesson or the lesson that impacted you the most during that period of, dating and discovering yourself? Because I do believe that process, you learn so much about yourself, what you want, what you don't want, what you're willing to sacrifice, what you're not, or compromise, not sacrifice. I don't like that word.
I think the big thing I learned was I'm a bad bitch. Like
Ooh,
I
Cheers.
deserve.
I got one little sip in here.
That is a great one. I love
Cheers.
that. Okay.
And I was like, I deserve so much better. I'm not settling for anything less. And I'm going to go for what I want.
I love
As you
that.
should.
So I think it was Carolina who mentioned this word, situationships.
Mhm.
What do you define, like to you, what is a situationship? Because
God, there's so many kinds.
so I thought a situationship is a relationship where you're hanging out, there's no commitment, there's no exclusivity, and
Yeah.
you're just kind of drifting. But I was told by someone that even you can be committed to someone and just sort of be committed for 10 years, 12
Yeah.
years, 15 years without, living together or getting married. And that could be a situationship.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't realize
it's
that.
ultimately not getting what you want, right?
Ooh.
Because if let's
Oh,
say,
wow.
it's
Okay.
ultimately not getting what you want. Because let's say you are maybe not necessarily ready to get married, but you want to be in a committed relationship. And the person's like, well, I'm not ready to be in a committed relationship, but let's hang out. Let's just hang. Let's hang and let's go to the movies together and let's do this. And there's no commitment. Then that's a situationship. Now, you could be in a committed relationship and somebody's like, I'm ready to have kids. I'm ready to get married. And they're like, well, I just want to be together. And it's like, okay, but you're not honoring what you really want. You're not honoring what you really want. And so you're staying put in a situation that doesn't satisfy you. So now you're
This
in a
is educational
situationship
for me.
too.
That's
you know?
interesting that can be viewed as a situationship
Yeah.
as well. I would
I
have never
didn't-
thought. I would have
right.
just said, "Oh, that's an unhealthy relationship."
Right.
Well, that too.
But one could argue all situationships are like
Yeah.
unhealthy relationships.
Yeah.
I always thought a situationship was like you're together, but there's no title, but that's your girl.
That's
Or
what I thought
that's
it
your
was.
man, and everyone's
Yeah.
fronting for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But that's so interesting. That is really interesting.
And I have heard that. And it was a little bit of a wake-up call because I didn't realize that can be construed as a situationship.
Well, damn, maybe I was in one.
We have to
All those years, I'm like, where is my ring? Was I in a situation?
Did you want a ring?
I did, but hindsight is probably best that
didn't happen.
that everything played out the way it played out.
Right.
Do you
Yeah.
want a ring?
I do want a ring.
Are you
I
listening?
do.
Wait, what's his
But he
name?
knows this. He knows this. We're going on 3 years. He knows. It's
And you vote. So that's the other thing. So when you're dating someone, you're dating intentionally. So I'm assuming that you want the whole, whether it's to get married
Yeah.
or live together or committed
A committed
situation.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes we assume that the guy knows what we want, and that's not
Oh
always
no,
the case.
I'm out here.
That's why I asked
you gotta be honest.
That's
You
why I
have
asked you
to,
that
yeah.
question.
You have to be, and like I said it from the very beginning when I was on these dates. I'm like, this is what I want.
You did.
Yes, because
You didn't scare
I'm
them away?
setting. I don't care if I'm scaring you away, then you're not meant for me, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to waste each other's time. So I'm going to tell you from the beginning what I want, what I'm not settling for, what my boundaries are, and then see what you're about. And if not, then it's not going to work out.
There's
Love that.
there's a choice on Hinge where you can put you want long-term relationship, short-term relationship, or make friends or something. And then there's one that says life partner. And when I was doing my profile, I was at first I put long-term relationship. I was like, that's not being true to myself. I want a life partner. And that might seem too big for someone. That might seem too intense for someone to hear. Oh my God, I'm putting it all out there. Monogamous, long-term relation.
Long-term partner.
Lifetime partner. But it took a minute for me to be okay with that and settle into that choice of putting that on my profile, because I was like, well, if I'm keeping it real and I'm trying to attract somebody who's keeping it real, then I have to be honest. And that's the truth. The truth was, I don't just want a long-term relationship. I want a life partner. And that's it, point blank. So, but it took a little bit of self-talking too to get there, as much as clear as I am.
So
But this
you
is what
know
happens.
what you want.
I know what I want, and most people will not say that clearly, because they'll be like, oh, well, now I look needy, I look like whatever, I did,
Right.
and it's like, no.
Or you just look decisive.
Or-
like,
Yeah.
and we need to
too.
stop, like, just take the stigma off being needy. You're not needy for wanting human connection. Like,
No.
we're all human beings. We want to be connected.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would say that the person that's saying, I'm not needy, they're lying.
Yeah.
We all need a little something.
Yeah.
So we've talked a bit about situationships, about figuring out what we want and asking for it. Do you know what a healthy relationship is? Did you see one growing up? Did you, do you think you can have one? Because I think so many of us get into these toxic, I know I've done it in and out for decades. And growing up, I didn't see a healthy relationship. I don't know what that model looks like. So for me, it was sort of like trying to figure it out as I go. Now in this stage of life, do you know what a healthy relationship is? And do you feel that you can find what you're looking for?
I love that. You know, you're in a relationship.
Yes, please.
For me, I didn't grow up, well, both my parents, they got divorced when I was super young. So the healthy relationship that I saw is like one of my aunts and uncles, and they were like, they're just so perfect together. So that's why I saw that, and I'm like, that's what I want. Like, he was always there for her, you know, giving her everything she needed. And for me now, like, what I want is like, well, what I have now is like, you want to make sure it's a relationship that has communication, that's consistent. And you want to make sure that they're just part of your life, like they add to your life. Because you really, like, you don't need that person, but you want someone who adds to what you already have, because you're already like fulfilled in your life and you're happy. So I think that's
compliments.
super, that complements your life.
Yeah. I never saw a healthy relationship growing up. I would say, honestly, Fresh Prince. Like, sorry, all my healthy relationships that I saw were on TV. I was one of those kids that just wanted the TV family. Like, damn, why can't I have a TV family? Why is everyone so dysfunctional and crazy?
So was mine.
Yeah.
Dominican.
I feel like so many of us had that experience of watching TV and being like, I wish that was
Well,
my
no,
family.
I mean, it's the whole Disney thing, right?
That's
I know
true.
what the first time I got married, you know, I had the church, the big gown. I wanted the Disney princess wedding.
Yeah.
And I didn't check in with myself and really ask myself, is this the partner that I want?
Right.
So we can't, you know, and I think now it's different.
Yeah.
Because I think girls growing up see something completely different than we did.
People are more
right?
aware right
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
than I think they've been in the past. Especially, I feel like, you know, I've spoken to people that are like 25, 26, 27, and they just are so much more aware than I was at 25, 26, and 27. And I'm like, shout out to the younger generation, because I feel like they're going to really make changes and, you know, with their kids, not give the same stigmas or just toxicity that we may have gotten from our parents about relationships and, you know, needing to be married and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So now, at this stage of your life,
Oh, I'm very capable of a healthy relationship. I'm healed. I have spent many years in therapy.
Ah.
I am like...
same girl, same.
Sometimes I'm too healed. I'm like, damn, I need a...
But you know the healing process doesn't end, right?
It's a forever thing. But I feel like I'm very much like I've healed a lot of wounds, and yeah,
I love
of course.
that. Okay. And you, Carolina?
So I didn't grow up seeing a healthy relationship at home, even though I have two lovely, amazing parents. I have to say that disclaimer in case they're watching. No, but I've been lucky enough to see my peers, my family around, people my age, be in very healthy relationships. So I have models of what that looks like. And I honestly, at this point, I feel like if you're taking away my peace and you're bringing me any kind of confusion, that's because I've worked really hard for my peace and I work on it every day. So it's like if anything disrupts that peace, I already know it's a red flag and I am pretty quickly like out the door. And that's not to say you don't give people chances and that there's not, you know, challenges that come with relationship and communication and all that stuff. But I do feel like there are some things like, and that's the other thing is like, I no longer feel the need to save anyone. You know,
what is it with the construction project?
There's no
major construction project.
No,
I'm not
like the builder.
You go save yourself. We are in the information age. There's a lot of information available to everyone. If you are ready and decided, you will go take the steps to heal yourself. That is not my job.
Yeah.
So that is also helped tremendously with everything in my life. But like, yeah, especially with men, it's like, oh, you have potential. Great. I know there's a good soul inside of you. You go carve it out.
I'm not dating for potential.
I bring it over here when it's ready.
Right.
Okay. Like,
yes. Don't date for potential.
No.
Don't.
You know
Don't
that
do
I
it to
said
yourself.
this in an episode. I can't remember what episode it was. I was sitting with my therapist and she looks at me and she says, what is it about this guy? Because obviously he's toxic. I said, well, he has so much potential. She looks at me and she says, fuck potential.
it's not real.
That part.
It's not
Yeah.
real. Like
Yeah.
you need to
Because
look
you're
at
looking to
what's
change,
there.
to mold.
Yeah.
You have to accept people as they are, where they are, and then make a choice. Is this what I want for myself?
Exactly.
And I've learned that, and I think I'm still learning that. Yeah. But you have to be true to yourself. And it should be easy. It should be like a no-brainer. But I think for women, for me, it's been one of the hardest things to do. Yeah. Like put myself first and put my needs first. I know it sounds crazy because it should be automatic, but I'm not sure if it's because we're Latina and we were raised to...
That self-sacrifice is love.
Yeah.
Women generally, Latinidad specifically, but women generally tend to do that. We tend to over-sacrifice to say, oh, we'll save them. We'll, you know, we can, you know, whatever. We can do everything. Like, and we can change a man or whatever it is.
If he loves me, he'll change.
Yeah.
I'll make him better.
It's ridiculous.
I'll make him better.
And I feel like that goes hand in hand with the ride or die mentality. Yes. And you know what? Oh,
you know what?
God,
it's funny when people ask me, what do you want?
mad.
I'm like, I want a ride or die.
No. No.
So
I rebuke the ride or die.
Share review.
First off, you shouldn't be dragging me through the mud.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if a man is gonna let you ride or die, I think it lacks integrity. And I say this as someone like I was riding for so long, being dragged through the mud, and I feel like you could have just let me go. Like you know what I mean? Like just you could just break up with a person and be like, no, listen, I know you're a ride or die, but I'm about to take you on a very difficult journey, and I don't think you deserve it. If it's meant to be, it'll come back. Men should not be dragging women through the mud. Women should not be riding or dieting on potential because it goes hand in hand. Okay? Just like, don't ride, don't die, do you, and find somebody that has already, and I'm not saying a finished product, okay? Because a lot of us are not finished products.
None of us are.
Yeah, I'm not saying like people need to be finished products, but they need to be past the biggest hump of dragging people through the mud with them.
Yeah, and they need to know what's theirs and what's yours, you know? Like, they need to know what is it that I need to heal for this relationship to work and be committed to that. Ultimately, I think a true healthy relationships are two people that are committed to themselves to healing. And they're just doing it together.
Yes.
Wow.
I like that, girl.
I love
Put it on a t-shirt.
You know? Do you agree?
Selling that.
I completely agree. I feel like that's super important just to like make it work. Like you want that. Otherwise it's not gonna happen. And then you're gonna be miserable. And then it's like you spend so much time like building them and molding them, then you lose yourself in the process. And you don't want that to happen at all.
Losing yourself.
Yeah.
So true.
And I will say one other thing that I got advice from my financial advisor of all people, which is funny because
Shout out.
shout out to Katie. Because when I lived in Miami for 3 years, I had moved out there to escape the cold, as we were talking about. And then when I came back, and I had a relationship down there too. And when I came back, I was like, I don't want to move to another place on my own before I meet a boyfriend. I moved back into my mom's place. It was supposed to be temporary. It was temporary, but it was taking longer because literally in my head, I was like, I am not going to move out until I meet that guy and we're gonna move out together and we're gonna build our forever home. Like that was my mentality, right?
Wow.
And my financial advisor was like, "Bitch, you looking for a roommate? Like,
exactly.
like stop. You are literally looking for a roommate." And I was like, "Oh damn, she is not wrong." I was waiting for a roommate to come along and so we could split the bills and all this stuff. I'm like, no.
And I'll tell you, it sucks being in that roommate relationship with someone that like. When you are like living with a person, I truly believe that if you don't come together as like one, like I mean like share meals together. Like there are certain things that you do that symbolize like we are a household and we are united. And you know, some people, you know, I've definitely been in this experience, never want to live it again. But some people like can literally be two individuals just living under the same roof.
Yeah.
And you may have moments where you feel united and like, you know, that's great, that's beautiful. But like to really be united, you need to fit into each other's lives.
Yes.
And a lot of people are stuck in that roommate situation and they think it's love. That is not love. It's like, no, it's separation.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's getting the bills paid.
Especially
like,
in New York with the rents the way they are.
Right?
I can imagine there's a lot of people in those situations.
A lot of people are living uncomfortable with their ex.
Absolutely. So we've talked about relationships. We have talked about dating. We talked a little bit about sex, kind of, sort of. And I want to sort of come full circle with the word love because sadly, I'm a romantic.
Me too. Hopelessly.
So I have two questions for you. What does the word love mean to you?
Take it first.
Oh,
I gotta think on that.
She's in a relationship. Yeah. And love can mean many things.
It can. Everyone has a different version.
Exactly. So what does love mean to you?
Love means to me just like someone where you can just be authentically you. Like you can be weird. You can like, you know, they just take you for who you are and you can feel yourself with.
No makeup.
No makeup. Like someone who also just brings you like calm and stillness. I think that's super important. Like I want someone who like feels safe. So I feel like love is that. And also
It's the Pisces in you.
yeah.
It's Aries.
Aries, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I would say like those like are my top two. I think that's what like love is.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think love is always considering a person, like always thinking about a person, and just thinking about how you could make their life better. You know, whether it's I'm gonna get you a flower on the way home from the train, or you know, I'm gonna buy you dinner because you had a really tiring day and you're exhausted. Like just always thinking about how you can improve someone's life. And I think it's appreciating people for who they are and not wanting to change things about them. And like seeing their flaws and being like, but I still love you. I'm gonna rock with you.
That's my man.
Yeah, is that your man? That's my man.
Well, all of those things, definitely someone that brings you peace. Think love is being inspired to do those kind of things, being inspired to be a team. And honestly, yeah, being inspired to be committed through hardships, you know, because you know that this person is
Making that choice every day.
You know, because you have fun with them and you have, you know, they inspire the most beautiful parts of you, you know? And so,
That's
I
beautiful.
love that.
I love that.
I found it interesting that no one mentioned sparks, butterflies, you know, that old school.
I mean,
What do you
I
think
feel like
about
we've all
sparks,
been in a long
butterflies?
relationship, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe we were thinking about it from like a long-term relationship versus the
Yeah.
newer ones.
because the sparks are just so easy these days, you know, like you can
Oh,
be
really?
super, not the butterflies,
Listen,
but just
when
like,
she's
Yeah.
talking, sparks, the fireworks go off.
listen, I'm someone who I can very quickly be like, oh my God, gets really excited
Giddy,
about
yeah.
something. Maybe it's not like butterflies in my stomach. I don't know. Honestly, I haven't felt butterflies in a really long time. That's kind of sad. You know, it's kind of scary. But I just think that that's all temporary. So love is something that is long term. You know, the sparks can be very short term. Even though I imagine being with my next husband, well, not next. I never had one, but I'm like, why something I don't know? I would imagine still having like a sense of joy and eagerness and giddiness for a very long time before it becomes like, I don't know, monotonous, you know? Yeah. So like mundane, you know?
So being that I think love is a combination of all these things, enough said, for me. But do you think love is enough to make a relationship work?
No. It's the bare minimum, girl. It is the bare minimum.
Wait, what?
No.
You're talking to a romantic.
I'm a hopeless romantic too, so I'm right there with you. But love is not enough.
No.
Love is not enough.
Okay.
You can love someone so hard and not reciprocate. You can love someone and, you know, for whatever reason, people justify why they don't show up in relationships all the time. But you can love someone and literally still not show up for them because of whatever reason. And like love is just the bare minimum. Like you got to put in the work, you got to put in the reciprocity, you got to put in the gratitude, and you need to be able to do that as a person. So if you can't do that as a person, no matter how much you love someone, you're not going to be a good partner. Yeah. So I think like literally what makes the relationship work is how healed are you as a person? Because you can have all the love in the world, but if you can't show up and be like the best version of yourself, like deuces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Everything she said. Like,
Go ahead, Mabel.
No, like that's everything.
Yeah. No, and I was also just going to add to that I think that I've been in a lot of I guess you could call it situationships, where maybe it could have led to love. Maybe it could have led to something blossoming bigger than what it was, but there was like a lack of communication, you know, like if you don't know how to express yourself, if you're not self-aware, if you're like, yes, I love you, but I can't commit right now or whatever, like you could have those feelings. And if you don't have any of those, it's not going anywhere. It can't work.
Yeah. You know? Can the relationship, I have to ask, I'm going to put it out there. Can the relationship work with all of that and really bad sex?
No.
No.
I had to throw that in there.
But you can teach someone how to do it right.
That's
true.
You can
That's
teach.
true.
You could definitely teach someone how to love you right. Yeah.
How to love you?
Oh,
or
yeah.
how to
How to
make love to you?
How to make love to you in a way that
Yeah.
it like works for you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Some people want to go to Pound Town every night. Some people are like, I'm sorry, I'm on the lazy river. Let's take it slow and steady. You know, like everyone likes different things.
Okay.
So, and you know what? People you're supposed to get better at sex, hopefully, as life goes on. You know?
Well, and that you build a rhythm or you create a rhythm between you two. That makes sense.
So I feel like the sex could always be worked on. That's how I feel personally.
Okay.
Sure. And then you also don't want to be with a guy who's like insecure. I think that's a big red flag in a
Yes.
relationship. Stay away from them. It's not going to work. It's going to bring like jealousy. They're going to put you down, even though they're the ones insecure. Yeah. And it's just miserable. And you don't want that.
Biggest red flag?
I would say insecurity. Like I need someone that's very insecure if they're gonna be with me.
You need someone who's confident, but not cocky.
People know. You know what I mean? Like
It's on TikTok somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes, we've had that conversation.
Oh God, the biggest red flag? Holy damn.
You can give us two if that's hard.
I'm trying to think. Well, insecurity is a big one, but I wanted to think of a different one.
Bad credit score, that's a red flag.
Maybe disrespecting women.
I need someone financially stable.
Sorry,
any sort of aggression.
Bad credit
aggression.
Any sort of aggression. Like if you're quick-tempered and you're like, you know, like
That's good.
I think especially for women, we need to feel safe very early on. Like we need to establish a sense of safety. But yeah, I think that obviously there's like if you're a narcissist, that's a huge red flag.
That's a whole nother episode.
That's a whole
Yeah.
yeah. But I think safety is a big one, which is sad to say because it shouldn't have to, you know. But if you, lack of communication is a big.
Women are picking the bear, so safety.
Women are picking the
Safety.
bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
So we all believe in love.
Yes.
I love it.
I do. Yeah.
So I like to wrap episodes, as you all know, because you've been on the podcast, with a quote, mantra, piece of advice, something, a gift for the community. So we've talked about love, sex, dating, and relationships. And I want to ask you for your best advice for anyone. I'll say ladies because we're ladies. We're women. For women looking for love right now because it's a war zone. So your best advice, if it was your sister, your friend.
I'm I tell this to all of my friends. When you're dating, collect data. You
Wait,
are
what?
yes, you are
Dating,
collecting
collect
data.
data.
Collect all the data, learn everything about that man, learn like what they're like, their habits, what do they do? But also like, do you like them? Do you want to be with them? Collect all that data, take it back, and then figure out like if you really want to continue dating that person. You want to learn all about that person.
So how much time do you give yourself to?
I mean, I would do like max 2 dates. I feel like that's when you like really know.
Okay.
But the first 2 dates, like really collect all that data and learn everything about them, because then that's gonna make you like you'll know whether you want to move forward with them or not.
I love that. Carolina.
To piggyback off of that, yes, research. I call it research. Do your research, because and also a lot of girls or women, I should say, are like more focused on whether the man is choosing them, or whoever.
Don't
and
be
it's like,
offended.
wait, are
No.
you choosing him? Like, are you,
Yeah.
So, research is very important, but also work on yourself. Know what you want and who you are, and don't compromise. Just be clear on where your boundaries are. Make it a full body yes.
We have to remember
Full
that.
body,
I
yeah.
love
I didn't
that.
coin this, by the way, so I should
Okay,
say
we
that.
need to give her.
But-
We need to give her credit.
Yeah. So this is Matt Kama's and Kelly, his wife. They have a Instagram page, and it's all about relation. I've learned a lot from them, by the way.
Okay, we have
Yeah.
to tag them.
And so, anyways, but yeah, it has to be a full body yes, and a full body yes might not come in the exact perfect package that you thought it would come in. You
So
know,
we can't all get the 6 foot
I mean, listen, if that's your
drink
non
of chocolate. or
if that's your
whatever.
non-negotiable, that is. But maybe maybe you wanted somebody with green eyes, and that's a negotiable part of it. Maybe they didn't have to have green eyes or whatever. And so there are some non-negotiables, and for me personally,
So
I
have
also
your non-negotiables.
yeah, and I also
that's great advice.
I don't want to date someone that's like maybe they don't have to be
has
6
a
feet,
300
but
credit score.
oh yeah. That
I'm
too.
sorry. I have PTSD here.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah. But anyway, so the main 2 things I would say is know who you are, don't compromise that, and make sure it's a full body yes.
Oof. Hard to follow up that one. I would say constantly check in with yourself. Like you said, and always thinking about if men are choosing us, just check in with yourself. Like, do you even like this person? Do you like what they're saying? Do you like how they're thinking? Do you like how they respond to you? Do you like the energy that they put out? And listen to your gut. It can be so easy. Like, I'm still learning how to listen to my gut, like to this day. And like, just if you have like a little, just explore it. Think about it. Explore it. And even if you can't describe it or can't explain it, maybe just bounce. Because why do you have to walk around with that feeling about a person? You shouldn't have to have that. Again, it should be like a hell yeah on all fronts. So listen to your gut and bounce if you're feeling a little iffy.
I would add, and I'm going to try and say it without getting emotional. I would say know what you're worth. I think that has been one of my biggest challenges. I sometimes give it up with a bargain price.
Yeah.
At a discount.
Yeah.
But I would say know your worth and be willing to walk away if you're not getting it. And I'm still trying to figure that out.
And there's always better out there.
Yeah.
Do not live in a scarcity mindset when it comes to men. Live in an abundant mindset and tell yourself like there is always better fish in the pond. Even if you can't see the pond, just have some faith that you will attract that big ass fish that's coming with everything you need.
I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having
you.
us.
I'm going to try and finish without a tear. I'm grateful to our sponsors, to Mionetto and Charcuterie Mom, Ava Creations for the Sips and Socials glasses.
Yeah,
Toast
love
to each and every one of you.
drank 2
To
glasses.
your ring. And,
Cheers.
and to AW Sips and Socials.
Yes.
And thank you for joining us on this episode of AW Sips and Socials with my ladies, Jasmine, Mabel, and Carolina. Thank you. I love you guys. Talk to you soon. Aw.
That was great.
That was so fun.
What you think, Cameron?